Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and today we are gonna do some makeup. Can you freaking believe it? I have not done a makeup look in quite a while. Halloween takes over my life. And this week is also a very hard week because this is like the anniversary of my mom's death and it's just been rough. So we are gonna play and hopefully try to uplift our spirits. And yeah, so last year I did kind of a frosty queen holiday look. Today I want to do something a little bit more smoky, a little bit sexier. There is something very easy about this look. It can look so lived in and delicious and sexy, but it's so easy to do. And you can personalize it with whatever color you want. I want life to be easy and fun and joyful, and I want you to feel confident, and this is a great look for that. You can also add a bold lip if you'd like, depends on how you like to live and how bold you like to go with your makeup and styling, but I tend to go one or the other. I like it sounds crazy if you know me, but I like a more minimal makeup look. Minimal meaning I don't like a lot on my skin. I like it to be very glowy, and I like to pinpoint one thing on my face. There has been this rule where like you only want to do your eyes or you only want to do up your lips and everything else is neutral. You can do whatever the crap you want, to be honest. I don't personally feel confident wearing a bold eye and a bold lip, but if you do, you go for it. So we're gonna do a bold eye today. We're gonna do a very sexy, lived-in, smoky eye. I'm personally going to do a deep blue with some shimmer because that's one of my favorite colors. Now, this is not a pastel blue, though that is back in. It's not a frosty blue. This is a deep jewel tone, and this is where I like to go with this, is a deep plum, a deep forest or emerald green, a deep blue, a deep cranberry. Any of these deep jewel tones are just gorgeous and easy on the eye. So we're gonna get started. I dyed my eyebrows today and I tried to keep it as contained as possible, but I usually don't. I usually like to just like let it go hard. And then I let the skin get rid of the dye in a couple of days, and that's fine for me because I work from home most of the time, so I don't have to look perfect every day. So it's a lazy girl hack, which I actually have a video coming up related to lazy girl beauty hacks, so stay tuned for that. I also have some empties, mostly skincare empties to talk about, and then we're gonna start into some Christmas stuff after that. So I don't have anything on my skin except for skincare, so we need to start. We're gonna put some SPF on, a light skin, because again, I really do love the skin to look a little bit more natural. I like to see some of the marks and stuff coming from underneath. If you do not like that, that's totally fine. You can use a full coverage foundation. You use whatever base you want. I like to start with my base and a teeny tiny bit of concealer, and then I like to clean up under the eye with more concealer at the end. And when I say a little bit of concealer, I mean just in the places where I know eyeshadow is gonna go on top of, and it's gonna be hard to get concealer in later, but the majority of the concealer is gonna go in after eyeshadow. So I'm gonna use my tried and true. I've been addicted to this since the spring. This is the Sun Bum Glow 30 SPF, and I am mixing it with the Studio One Vacation Studio Tone SPF 50 3-in-1 bronzing drops for the face. I've been blending these together, and we are going to do close-up when we get to the eyes, but I don't typically have a lot of holiday places to go. Freddy's, ooh, a little bit too much bronzer, oh well. Freddy's work doesn't really do a traditional holiday party, and our brokerage does a holiday party, but more so like a lunch during the day for just the agents, and we do like a gift exchange. And anyway, so it's not for couples or anything, so it's not really like a nighttime gala, but if you have one, or if you just want to look festive in your day-to-day life, this will work. I like easy looks. I like lived-in looks. I don't want to spend 3 hours doing my makeup to get ready for an evening. I just can't. I just don't want to be a part of it. Okay, so I got a second color of my favorite concealer, the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. I've been getting the RN3, which is Rosy Neutral, because I'm a neutral, but I lean cool, not warm. Anyway, and I just love these because they're really good on oily skin and mature skin, because I am 44 and a half, and clearly this works beautifully on me. But I like to mix these so that I'm getting the right tone for my skin. Though it is fall here, it feels like summer. So I don't want to go too light. I got the new one. It's a brand new 2.5. So that'll be good for winter. I'm mixing them in the transition, but I'm only going to do the teeniest, tiniest bit because I want to conceal this inner corner before I put any eyeshadow on. You can do this whatever order you want. The most interesting part of this for most people is going to be just the eye look, but hopefully some of these tips are helping. And then I'm going to go and put some eyeshadow base on as well. I cannot get away with not using eyeshadow base unless I'm literally like going to take a picture and then be done, because my face just does not hold stuff. So I can still conceal a lot more here, but we're gonna do that later. Gosh, it's so humid out and I am feeling it. So I'm gonna turn the air down and then we're gonna do a close-up so that we can really see the detail work on the eye. Okay, that took way too long to figure out. I love this new setup in my beauty room. But it does, the whole reason I even had my setup in the beauty room how I did was so that I always had really great light straight onto the face. And I have switched it, so I'm pretty sure I said this in the last video, it just takes a lot to like get the lighting right now, which is annoying, but that's where we're at. So let's continue. We're gonna start on the eyes. Like I said, I did a little bit of stuff there, some concealer. We are going to use one of my favorite eyeshadow bases. And this is the Photo Focus by Wet n Wild. I know Milani has a really good one. Guys, makeup has come such a long way. You really don't have to buy Chanel. You don't have to buy Estee Lauder. If you want to, go for it. If you have some tried and true stuff, great. But like, we're in an interesting economy right now where like, people that weren't struggling before are really struggling, and people that were struggling before are struggling hard now. And like, you know, my YouTube channel grew 100 subscribers in October, and I am so thankful. And I've always wanted to have a big YouTube channel just because I love it, and I would love to have people to have conversations with that love what I love. So like, I legit love talking in the comments on other YouTube channels, on mine, so comment like crazy if you were that person. But I would never consider myself an influencer. I consider myself more of a teacher. And a lot of influencers right now, the goal is just to get you to buy all the things. And I can fall into that trap so easily, and I think we all can. But we really have everything we need for the most part. Most of us do, right? Like, clearly there are people that do not, but like for the most part in America, we have a lot of what we need already. We don't need to buy 27 more eyeshadow palettes. We don't need to do any of that. You know what I mean? So, and if we do need something new, like we really don't have to spend $100 on it. Like there are things out there. There are drugstore pieces of makeup that are just incredible and just beautiful. So you really don't have to do it if you don't want to. You can look beautiful and confident. You can decorate your house. You can do all the things with very little money. And that's what I strive to teach. So I want to do a deep blue today. And what I think I'm going to do is you can start with either a deep brown or a black pencil, or even like a cream eyeshadow, or like a liquid, like a pot cream liner, not a liquid. You don't want it to dry very easily. So what I'm gonna take, because I actually do not have a black pencil that is usable right now, I'm gonna use my Raban Color Shot in Black Loon. So this is a cream shadow. You can use a black kohl pencil, something that is kind of soft, but that will dry down. And I have a lot of recommendations for that. The Urban Decay 24/7 liners are really great for that. The LA Girl Shockwave, really great for that. Depending on how your eyelids are and how greasy they get, even one of these, the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencils can work. You don't have to go big. You don't have to go expensive. Now the Raban is expensive. I've had this and had this for a while, and I rarely use it because it doesn't really stay on my lids as just a shadow on its own, but it does make a great base for me. So I'm gonna put just a teeny tiny bit, squeeze out onto the back of my hand, and I'm going to use a thin brush. I actually like to use sometimes like a more paintery, like a traditional art paintbrush. You can make it really thin that way, and they're kind of more affordable, so that's also a little trick. And then you're gonna want some sort of small traditional eyeshadow brush to blend it in, and it can really be any shape, honestly. Like, is there a perfect shape for this? Probably. Can you make this work with a lot of different things? Yes, you can make this work with a Q-tip, okay? So I'm gonna dip this so that the deepest, darkest color is between the lashes at the lash line, so that we are opening up the eye without having to do much technical work, and we're creating more volume in the lashes by closing the gaps in between. And this does not have to be perfect. This is not about getting a perfect wing, which is why I really love this. So I'm going to kind of push it into the lash line. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna blend it out with that little brush. And you're gonna continue to do that over and over until you get a gradient. Honestly, my favorite way is with the kohl pencil, because you can get multiple uses out of that. So really like that. All right, so I blended that a little bit so that there is no harsh lines, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna continue to do the same thing. I'm gonna just build it, maybe even make it a little thicker now that I know I have it in the lash line. And now I'm going to build it up a little more, a little wider, taking up a little bit more space on the lid. And then I'm mostly going to blend out the top edge, and I'm gonna leave the darkest near the lash line. So the goal is to have the darkest near the lash line and have it fade up as high as you feel comfortable. This right here is plenty for most people. I have a hooded lid, so I want to go slightly above this, and I like a more dramatic look. If I'm gonna go smoky, I want super smoky. So you can play with this however you feel most comfortable, and make it as bold or as subtle as you want. The main technique here that I'm wanting to get across is using an eyeliner or a liquid shadow as a base to get a smoky, lived-in look with any color. So we're using a black, a dark charcoal, a dark brown, something that will fade. All right, so I think we have a really good start here. I'm gonna do the other eye, and then we will add our shadow. Remembering that this is kind of a messy look. And when I say messy, I mean it's not super technical. It's not like we're rubbing black all over our eyeball and calling it a day. There is a place for the eyeliner. You're not just throwing it on, right? You are being strategic But the goal is that you're not having to be super precise, and it's still gonna look gorgeous, and you're gonna get, it's kind of rock starry to me. It's like I'm getting ready for my big show at ACL. I don't know. And then because this has a fade to it, you have to do less work when you add the shadow, because the shadow, once you add it on top, will look different on the darker part of the liner than it will on the lighter part of the liner. All right, so I am going to take a, like I said, a sparkly blue. You could do a sparkly black, like something like this. It does lean a little blue, but it is black. You could use something like that. Like I said, you could use a green, you could use a purple, you could use a cranberry. I just really love blue, so that's what we're gonna do. And there is a rule that they say that if you have blue eyes, you don't wear blue shadow. I say, who cares? I'm gonna do whatever I want. And I personally love blue eyeshadow on every eye color. So yeah, it's really all about how comfortable you feel. And I think it's always a good time to kind of get out of your comfort zone, but you know, you do you. I'm gonna use this blue pressed metallic pigment. It's not metallic, it's shimmer. All Night Blue, it's the L'Oreal Infallible. These have been around forever, and they are incredible eyeshadows. Okay. One of my favorites from another video is Amber Rush, gorgeous on every eye color. Anyway, okay, so we are gonna take a smaller eyeshadow brush to start, and then we're gonna use a bigger fluffy brush to blend out. You can also take this all the way under the eye for more drama, for more boldness. Again, depends on how confident you are, depends on how hard you're going. I actually love all the way around the eye, so I'll show you that, and I'll show you what it looks like before we go that far, so you know where you want to stop personally. So I'm just using a traditional eyeshadow brush size. And I'm going to press, not swipe, I'm going to press at the closest to the lash line. I am pressing and tapping to the highest point where I want the deep color, which is in my crease. And then I am going to take a fluffy brush to blend that out. So let's do the other side. Now, when you do underneath, you can do the liner or you can just do the blue. I like to do the liner or the cream shadow because it helps it stick a little bit better, and I have a hard time getting things to stay. So I need all the help I can get. If your shadow stays on really well, you might not need it and you might not want it. But I also think it gives a little bit of depth as well. So you're not just seeing blue, but you're seeing shades of blue without using 4 different shades of eyeshadow. So I've used one eyeliner and one eyeshadow, and you're gonna see depth of color. So I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush, blending brush, not concealer brush, crease brush, but I like the bigger, fluffier ones, not for my crease because my crease is small, but for blending. So I'm gonna start where the blue is. I'm not gonna start above. I'm gonna start where the blue is, and I'm gonna do little round circles. And I like a little bit of inner corner depth. So again, you can create the shape you want. The idea here is you're playing with color and depth of color with little to no product. So you can see that we get a gradient from lash up to the brow. You can go all the way up to the brow if you'd like. I don't have a lot of lid space, so I do go above my crease, but I like to stop before I get to the eyebrow just to leave a little bit of dead space. I do think our eye needs that. I think I went a little hard on that side. It's kind of like writing a dance or doing a speech, right? You want depth and of tone and loudness and depth of color when you're doing a painting and all of those things, right? So we don't want clear eyes. We want this. So to do that with only 2 products, you need to give it some gradient. So you could stop there. You could do concealer, mascara, lashes, and done. I personally do not wear fake lashes, but I think they would look beautiful here. I do think you have to be careful that you're not getting too cartoonish. But again, it just depends on how you live your life. It depends on how you like to wear your makeup. It depends on what your style is, how bold you are, how confident you are. So I am going to do the bottom, but then I'm not going to put any extra eyeliner on. You could do like a black wing liner if you want, but part of this look is a lived-in feel, and it's not, I don't personally like the harsh line of a winged liner on top of this. If I were to do a winged liner, I would want the wing liner on its own with some pretty lashes and a bold lip. To me, this is more of a, I don't know what it's not gooey, it's not messy. I keep saying lived in, but there are no harsh lines. So I am not gonna add another liner. I am only gonna do bottom blue and mascara. That's how I like to wear mine. Again, the point of this tutorial is showing you how easy it is to do a basic smoky eye with any color, and then you can personalize it to your style and how you wear your makeup. Are there certain rules I think some of us should follow? Yeah, maybe sometimes, but like in the end, who cares? You know what I mean? If it ain't hurting anybody, who cares? So I'm going to use that small brush that I used to blend out the liner on the lower lash line because I have smaller eyes. I don't want to use too big of a brush, right? The bigger the brush, the further your shadow goes down at the lower lash line. So it's all going to depend on how lived in you like it. I don't like a harsh line, like I said, so I'm probably going to blend this down into the bag a little bit. To me, that creates more of a rock star, again, I can't find the right word, but a little bit of a lived-in look. And another thing you can do here is you can also add that liner to the inner rim here to really make it smoke. But I think I'm gonna leave mine open today. And I am going to take this, but I'm going to pinch it because the more space, the more actual physical space this takes up that you press on your skin, the more physical space it's going to take up on the actual blue on your skin. So I'm going to pinch this because I still like the fluffiness of it, but I'm going to pinch it so that I don't get too far down. And I know I'm talking a lot for this, and I rarely talk too much when I'm doing a tutorial like this or doing my makeup on camera, but there's little techniques that you can use that really can help refine the look and make it exactly how you want. All right, so let's pinch that. And then if you go too far down, that's where that end concealer comes in, where I don't like to put that on because I like to have the opportunity to clean up messes that I might have created. And the rest of the makeup will go very fast, especially if you don't want to wear like a bold lip. All right, let's check this. Oh yeah, I really, really love that. You can layer colors if you want, but again, we're going through this to be the easiest thing possible with the smallest amount of product. So I'm gonna leave this out in case I need to touch up, but I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with concealer. I just dyed my brows, so I'm probably not gonna do anything to them, but I would do that at the very end after you've powdered, so that you get the powder out of the hairs of the eyebrows. All right, right, so let's get in with some concealer. I'm gonna put the teeniest, tiniest bit, and oh, of course. And then we're gonna do a really beautiful, like a rosy neutral blush, some mascara, and not much else, guys. Like, honestly, if I wasn't talking, this whole entire face, 15 minutes, which is pretty great for like a holiday look. I also go back and go to any redness that has not been covered up by my sunscreen, tinted sunscreen, or any big blemishes that I might want to cover. All right, I'm gonna use my favorite brush, the IT Cosmetics Love is the Foundation brush. And I like to press the product into the skin. This to me helps you get the coverage you want without wiping it away, and it also pushes into the skin to where you can still see your own skin through it, meaning the coverage is not sitting on top, but it's within, and then it blends better as the day goes on. So I'm gonna press this a little bit here, but I think I need to get a more detailed concealer brush to get this properly under the eye, because I typically don't wear eyeshadow. So like 99% of days I do not wear eyeshadow. So I don't have to worry about like the precision of concealer. But today I think I do. So I think it's gonna be time to wash these pajamas, because I use my pajama pants as brush cleaner. All right, so a little bit of a smaller brush so that we can get some detail. And then if you want to go back, you can go back with a blue brush that just had leftover shadow on it, not dip in again, but kind of use it to brush through and get kind of the blended edges again. If you're very good at not getting eyeshadow everywhere, you can do the concealer first and just touch up if you need to. It just depends on the day for me, but I do end up needing to clean up quite a bit, like know thyself. I'm a messy eater. I'm a messy do everythinger. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna go back. Again, I've not dipped in. I'm literally just going to get those edges blended in. And again, if I was not talking, we'd be done. We would be done. But I wanted to give you some tips and tricks as we went along here. All right, so I have been obsessed with the meteorites, the powder meteorites. Thank you to my Aunt Becky always for giving me the expensive stuff that I never buy for myself. And I'm going to dip into these and give myself a little bit of a powder finish. This is a slightly shimmery powder that I really love to use to blend all of my face products together at the very end. So I do a light touch and then I might dip in again to blend. I am only gonna do one blush today, and it's kind of a good mix between a blush and a bronzer, and it does have some shimmer to it. It's the RMS Maiden's Blush, no, the Redimension Hydro Powder Blush in Maiden's Blush. I have raved about this. It's been a favorite for the whole year now that I found a brush that works. You do need a not synthetic. You need a real hairbrush for this. And I'm gonna use it where I would use a bronzer. So I'm gonna use it in a pretty wide range on the cheeks into the spots that I would contour on the forehead, a little bit over the nose. And it's gonna be up to you if you wanna do extra highlighter. For me, this is enough between a shimmery blush, a little bit of a tiny bit of shimmer of the powder to blend everything in, and then my oily skin. I get plenty of shine, and you can also use a shiny setting spray, or you can just go hard and do the highlighter. look crazy per the usual, but we blend it all together and we clean it up. All right, let's do, I feel like I need to blend a little bit in that corner. So again, the way my thing is set up now, my desk and stuff, my vanity, it is hard to see a little bit. And so I do need to turn towards the windows sometimes to see some of the more detail work. Okay, all we need is mascara. And we're gonna do a little bit of a lip stain right now. A light lip stain and then like a neutral, like a neutrally pink gloss, nothing too crazy. Let's do, it's like I don't even have that berry anymore. Literally doing the tiniest bit there. Okay, I want to blend everything together. We're gonna spray the face and then we'll do mascara and gloss. So I use, you can use any kind of brush you want here. This just gives me a little bit more precision. I use an oversized crease brush for the powder and I go back over and blend it all in. And I'll show you this in real, I mean, we're in natural light right now, but like I'll go outside and show you how it doesn't look crazy. But you know, you can go pretty hard if you want, it's totally up to you. I will definitely be leaving my lips blank other than a little bit of gloss, I think. I've been looking for like a neutral stain. All of mine are like pinks and reds and oranges, which I love for spring and summer, but I think going into winter, I need something a little bit more pared down. I haven't been able to, you know what? I wonder if, I mean, this isn't a stain, but I could use this cream bronzer. Let's try it. Use a little bit of the cream bronzer, but it can be really drying. So, okay, we're gonna spray our face. The best one for a party is On Till Dawn, one size, mattifying waterproof setting spray. Woo! Okay, that got stuck. That's a problem because this is, you go through this so fast because it's such an aerosol type, which is amazing, but like, woo! All right, I'm gonna do some quick mascara, we'll do gloss, and then I'll show you what we got. All right, I typically do not do bottom lashes for mascara anymore, but for a party I would. I have been using the e.l.f. lash extender. It's a Thrive Cosmetics, the tubing mascara dupe, works beautifully. It's the only thing that really just keeps my mascara from coming off, and it doesn't give me the look I really love. But at this point, I need lasting power more than I need like the look I'm looking for, if that makes sense. So we got some mascara. I'm gonna do just a light pink Summer Friday lip gloss. I don't know that this is like the perfect lip. I feel like we need a little bit of something, but I really don't know what that is right now. Like the focus is on the eyes, so I did not really. There we go. I think that's okay. I just wanted a little bit of color, but it's like not the exact color I wanted. And then because I just dyed my eyebrows, I really don't need to do anything with them, but I think I will just do like a little bit of a gel to keep them where they need to be. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to like a rehearsal tonight for a band gig, and here I am just looking glam like I'm ready for a freaking Christmas party. Oh, but it's so cute. It's so cute, you guys. And I would personally do kind of a lived-in messy look for the hair too, but I would probably keep it off my face. Or honestly, even like a really slick back look would look so beautiful to me. Let's see. I need to buy new bobby pins. Like, where do they grow? Where do they like grow legs and go? I will never understand. Okay guys, there's the final look. I'll put some pictures here of what we look like in natural light outside. Hope you learned something new today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.